In the last video, we covered all the items you would need to purchase to begin beekeeping. The woodenware category of that list can be a bit confusing, and I didn't want that video to get too long, so I figured we'd go into the more granular details of each hive component in this video. This is what the finished hive would look like. I have to point out that the second box wouldn't get put on right away when you start beekeeping. This is sort of a future proof because we know that you're going to need to grow into that. So that was included in the original budget. So let's just go over each part individually and explain them in a bit of detail. So your first part is your bottom board. You'll notice that one side is a little bit shallower than the other. I believe in a lot of my beginning research, this was like a winter formation because it would actually cause the space to be smaller, like 3/8 of an inch, as opposed to 3/4 of an inch. I've never flipped my bottom boards over for winter configuration. I've always just left them just like that. So that's your bottom board. Then you have your deep hive body. Inside that hive body is your deep frame. Each box would get 10 of these. Then after this box builds out, and these frames, your 10 frames get to about 80% drawn and working, meaning they have some wax being built on them and the bees are actually working on, actively working them, you would add your second box. Then your next component is your inner cover. It's a notched inner cover. They make these without the notch. I always buy the notched inner cover because ventilation is just so important in the wintertime. I put the notch facing the back of the hive. I don't think it matters, but for demonstration purposes, we'll put it right there so you can see it. So that goes up there. Then you have your telescoping outer cover. It's just a little bit bigger so that you can pull it forward and expose your notch in your inner cover. So that adds for ventilation and it gives the bees an upper entrance as well. And then just a little auxiliary part worth a mention is your entrance reducer. This usually comes with the bottom board, at least in the Manley catalog it does. It has your small entrance. So when you're first starting up your hive, it's going to be fairly, low populated, kind of on the weak side, needs a little help. And it's going to need help defending all of that space in this single box that you'd be starting out in. And then as your hive grows, it'll get more congested. You'll see the bees kind of have like little traffic jams and kind of piling up all around that entrance. And that's probably a good indication that you need to open it up a little bit. And then by the time you add your second box and that gets built up a bit, you'll see big traffic jams over there, and then you just remove it all together. That's simple enough. When it comes to painting your equipment, because you could buy it either painted or unpainted, you want to paint anything that's exposed to the outside elements. You don't need to paint anything inside. If you can see it when it's all put together, you paint it. So all of your outside of your boxes get painted. Your lid will get painted, your outer cover, I'm sorry. There is no need to paint this because that's going to be completely covered. Obviously, you're not going to paint your frames. They're going to be inside the hive. Make sure you get your handles real good. And make sure you really pay attention to those cut ends, because those are going to be the most vulnerable where water's going to want to wick in there. So you do your entire outside of your body. You do not do this part because it's not going to be exposed to the elements. The bottom board, you do the entire bottom, even though it's not really going to be exposed to the elements. It's going to get damp and wet under there. So I do always paint the bottom boards, the bottom rail and the big surface as well. And then the outsides you paint. You don't need to paint this because the boxes will cover that. However, you create that little opening, the entrance, and you want to paint the landing board, which is created with the Hive setback. So I just kind of paint one paintbrush width in. So I kind of just gauge it. When I take the box off, I just kind of paint a little extra and go back to there. That's it. That is your Langstroth Hive setup and each individual part explained. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.